in terms of this unexpected semester of plants I'm putting myself through, I was already actually reading a book about herbalism because this was already something I was interested in. Just gives me an excuse to really dive in, you know? But the only one I was able to rent from my library through my library app was Latine Herbalism. The actual title of it was really long, so I'll put it right here along with the author. It was the only one. So first of all, there were only 4 books on herbalism in total on the app, and every single other one was all very anti-science. And it was very disheartening to see. But this one has been very good so far. I was a little bit worried about it because I am white. And I am never wanting to appropriate anyone's culture or dip my toes into things that aren't mine. But within the first few pages of the book, she was like, I'm only going to be teaching stuff that's open practice. So that made me feel a lot better right away. Yeah. So I wanted to go over my notes that I've taken with you, for me, so that I help remember them, and for you, just in case you'll find any of this useful, either the stuff that I have in my notes, or maybe just, like, how to take notes, I don't know. So she spends the first couple of chapters, or, like, the first chapter and a half, talking about herbalism in Latine cultures, in, like, those Latin America countries, you know, down. She talks about things called energy healing and energy cleanses and physical healing. She talks about the roles of healers and all their traditional titles and all the things that they may want to be called within her tradition and the traditions that surround hers. These are the parts that I don't plan on bringing into my life because I'm not part of any of those cultures, and though she said she wasn't teaching any closed practices, it was clear that some of those things were things that you were, like, really need to study and devote yourself to and, like, be part of the culture to really partake in. But it was things that were good to know and very interesting. It's always very interesting to me how not American countries treat health and mental health and physical health. I think one of the things that was really interesting to me was the immediate link between mental and physical health, and talking about, like, how, you know, sometimes there are some physical things that might be hurting because you're hurting mentally, and, like, she talks about how this is a very old concept, and in Western medicine and American medicine, I feel like this is something that's still controversial. Like, it both is and isn't controversial. I feel like it's only not controversial when it can be weaponized against someone to make them seem crazy. Whereas in this, it seems like they just accept that it is a fact that sometimes mental ailments will cause physical ailments, and the things that make physical ailments better are talking about the mental ailments, but also that sometimes physical things happen. It's been a long time since I took a Spanish class. What I found really interesting that fell under this concept was the platisa. I'll put it right here. And she defined it as an emotional talk with spiritual guidance and sometimes herbs from, like, the healers of that culture. And I just, you don't get anything like that in American medicine. Like, sometimes the therapist might tell you, like, have you ever tried chamomile tea? And then acts like it's revolutionary. It is truly incredible how much Western medicine acts like it's revolutionary when this is stuff that people have just been new for thousands of years. Okay, so the next chapter of the book goes into a little bit of anatomy. And this is the part that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna really need to remember this stuff. So let's go through this. So she starts with the integumentary system. I think that's how you say it. It is the outer layer of the body. So take a minute to think about what's the outer layer of the body. It helps regulate your body temperature, retains moisture, absorbs certain nutrients, and it is made up of your hair, nails, skin, and sweat glands. The next thing is the muscular system, which there weren't really many notes on, but it's made up of your muscles, ligaments, and tendons. Skeletal system, that is your inner structure. It secures muscles, it houses organs, it stores minerals, it creates blood cells, and it is made up of your bones. There are a lot of them. Next up is the respiratory system, which allows us to breathe. It takes oxygen into the lungs and then sends it out into the bloodstream and releases carbon dioxide from the body. Your respiratory system is made up of your nose, mouth, throat, voice box, is voice box a technical term? Bronchi or bronchi, and lungs. Next up is your digestive system. This breaks down food into nutrients in the body, aids in the elimination of waste, and it is made up of your mouth, throat, esophagus, small intestine, and your rectum. The liver, gallbladder, and pancreas are all accessory organs to this system. I had to do a little bit of extra Googling to figure out what an accessory organ is, and I kind of from the name got it, but I just wanted to make sure that I really understood. Accessory organs are organs that are not primarily digestive tract organs, but they produce enzymes and hormones that aid in digestion. So, it's not their job, but they do help. Next is the nervous system, and damn it, I messed that up. My systems certainly do be nervous. Controls the systems of the body, sends messages from the brain to the muscles, organs, and glands, in charge of the parasympathetic and sympathetic systems. This is made up of your brain, your spinal cord, and your nerves. Next is the circulatory/cardiovascular system. This circulates blood. It carries oxygen, nutrient, blood vessels through the body, and it is made up of your heart, your blood vessels, and your blood. Up next is our reproductive system. Now, there are two different reproductive systems that we're working with, generally, unless you're intersex. The function of this is to create offspring. Testicles produce sperm, ovaries produce eggs, and this is made up of the vagina, ovaries, uterus, fallopian tubes, and mammary glands, or the penis, testicles, scrotum, duct defenders, and prostate gland. Like I said, unless you're intersex, and then other things might be going on. And also, this is basic biology. To be clear, this is the lowest level of biology. There are so many more higher levels of... Anyways, I don't want people to try shit in my comments. And by try shit in my comments, I mean be transphobic. Fuck off. Go away. Next up is the urinary system. This eliminates liquid waste from the body as opposed to the other system that eliminates, waste from the body. This balances salt, electrolytes, water, and in the blood. It's made up of your kidneys, bladder, urethra, and... Now what the fuck did I... Sometimes my writing is bad. Uterus? Uterus? I don't know if that's how that's said or spelled because my handwriting is so terrible here. Please tell me what I was onto. Up next is the endocrine system. This is glands that release hormones to regulate certain body processes. What body processes? I don't know. The book didn't get that far. Something I'm probably going to have to look up. If you know, I would love to know. But it's made up of the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, the thyroid gland, the thymus, the adrenal gland, the pancreas, the ovaries, and the testicles. And last, but certainly not least, is the lymphatic system. This is a network of tissue and glands that carry lymphatic fluid. What is lymphatic fluid? This is fluid containing white blood cells that helps fight infection and aids in immunity. Oh no, I'm running out of... This is what it's made of. This is what it's made of.